Hello and welcome, everybody. As you can see, Jane Eyre is to say hello. Say hello. Okay, that's even better. She jumped down. Um, Welcome to this week's Tea and Sympathy with Gillian-Baker. I'm Gillian-Baker, and today I am enjoying a lovely cup of Twinings Earl Grey. It's classic. I love Earl Grey. And I have it in my special Valentines type cup. We go together like tea and biscuits. And um, there's a story behind that, actually. My daughter, uh, our daughter, once told us, it's probably been 3 years ago, that her dad and I go together like tea and biscuits. And she said, in fact, that we want to be cremated. She said, when we die and we're cremated, she's going to put she's going to put my husband's ashes in. Hey, Mary, green tea. All right, good choice. She said that she was going to put her dad's ashes in a great big biscuit tin, and mine will go in a tea tin. So then, like, not even 6 months later, we were out shopping with her grandmother, my mom, and we found this mug, and it was like, oh my gosh, we have to buy that. Even though I did not need another mug, I just had to get it. So that's my kind of Valentine themed mug. And today we are going to chat a little bit about the romance that you can find in the digital detective series with Jade Blackwell. And one of the questions I get sometimes is why I made Jade a married woman instead of going with the more traditional having a love interest in the beginning. That a lot of times in cozy mysteries, the love interest is somebody that the protagonist wouldn't normally be attracted to, and maybe they just even irritate the heck out of each other. But somehow, over the series, each book, they get closer and closer, and they a lot of times end up married. And I didn't do that with Jade, and there are several reasons. One of which is when I started writing the book, I didn't have plans to publish it. I was just writing for myself, and I was really frustrated with where I was in my life, with my career, not with my personal life. But I'm a married woman, and I have a daughter who's now an adult, and I don't know, it just felt right that I could use that, my own scenario, as a way to work through some of the issues that I was having in my work life. And I've thought back, would I change that if I were writing the series today? If I were writing the first book? And I have to say no, because while there is so much to be said for new romance and falling in love, and it's very exciting, and it's very topsy-turvy, and you're on top of the world, and all of those exciting aspects of falling in love and finding your forever partner and all those kinds of things. Yeah, they're great, they're exciting, they're romantic. But there's a lot to be said for the romance that comes from a long-term relationship that has endured a lot of ups and downs, and yet is still stronger than it was before, when you first fell in love. So my husband and I met my husband when I was, the weekend I turned 16, and we had our first date about a month later, and we've pretty much been together ever since. So we've been married for 33 years, And I have to say, we're happier now than we ever have been. And so, you know, there's a lot of that. I think it's underappreciated, the romance that you can have when you're really meant to be together and you've worked through struggles and you've gone through hard times and you're just there for one another no matter what. And I wanted to show that. And Christian, who is Jade's husband, is always very supportive of Jade, even though he does try and rein her in and tries to get her not to put herself in danger. You know, it's not because um, he's worried that she'll go somewhere that he can't follow, or that he is trying to keep her close and not let her experience what she needs to experience to become the person that she's meant to be. But it's for her own safety and because he cares for her. And they have a very easy relationship. They cuddle up on the couch and watch TV. Um, they laugh together. They worry together. They figure out problems together. You know, they'll lay in bed and talk about what are we going to do about this situation. Um, in the fourth book, their big concern, which is coming out in the spring, their big concern is their daughter Ellie, or Penelope, and she's acting more like a teenager than a young adult, and they can't quite figure out why she's being so hostile towards them and what the, you know, she won't talk to them. So they lay in bed and talk about what's up with her, what are we going to do, how can we figure out what's going on, why won't she talk to us, you know, all those kinds of things that parents do, and in a loving relationship. So I'm really glad that I set it up the way I did, because I think more often we need to appreciate that closeness, that bond that can happen between two people over years and years. And that can still be romantic. There are a couple of romantic scenes. They're not, you know, they're just alluded to, since this is a cozy mystery, in the books. And they just naturally evolve because the people, Christian and Jade, truly care about one another and love each other deeply. And I don't think that that's modeled often enough, that people who have been married for decades can be still that happy together and in love, even though it doesn't look all sexy and exciting. You know, it's more of like two old shoes together. But there's a lot to be said for that. So I'm glad that I went that direction with it. I will say that in my new series that I'm working on, there will be a love interest. I will do things differently than I did with Jade, but that's just a little tiny sneak peek preview. It's not ready. I'm not ready to announce anything about the new series yet, but I will tell you that things will change a little bit in that other series. So I'm looking forward to that and exploring that as a writer. So let's see, what else do we have? I wanted to tell you about some romance that's upcoming in the series. And the first one is, of course, Phyllis. She is in her 80s, and she has found love again. Her Ernie, as she calls him, died many, many years ago, and he was her one true love, or so she thought. And in book 3, at the end, we find out that Homer, her new boyfriend, has asked her to marry him. He's never been married, he's always been a bachelor, and so that's really exciting news. Everybody in the book is very excited for her. In the fourth book, Liable to Kill, they are working on getting their wedding together. She's getting prepared for the big day and is having some cold feet issues, and all the rest. So Jade is kind of helping her, you know, get the whole big the big day planned and organized. And Jade just really thinks that they should probably just elope, but you know, they're going to do it big, I guess. So, and then in the fifth book, I'm going to bring romance into a brand new character's life. He's not a new character; he's been in the books, but he is going to find love finally, and I'll just leave it at that. But I'm really excited about that. Um, Growing that particular character and showing him in a different way. And I have this whole idea planned out for who it's going to be and what's going to happen. So I'm really excited about that. So there's much more romance to come in the next couple of books, and I hope that you will enjoy it. So that's all for me today. Thank you, Mary, for being here live. It's always so great to have you here. Appreciate it. And anybody else who jumps on later and watches, please let us know what tea you're drinking or another beverage when you're watching. And ask any questions you might have or post any comments. We've been having some great discussions after the lives are finished. So make sure that you join in and tell us what you think. Or, oh, I know, you could guess. You could guess who is going to have the big romance in book 5, which is not named yet. So I don't know, that might be fun too. You know, it's a guy, so you can take a guess and see. We'll see if who's right. Okay. All right. We will talk to you next week. Thanks, and have a great Valentine's Day. Bye.